Dan, have you ever bought a SPAC that had no deal in mind or anything like that?
Well, it kind of depends. I did recently buy shares of Pershing Square Tontine. So that has had various rumors, but nothing has really moved forward. So, in terms of buying stuff just straight out, no. But it doesn't mean I wouldn't. It's just, like I said, a lot of it has to do with trading rules and what we write about. And so, my ability, you're an active SPAC investor, but sometimes I don't know how you do it because you write about them enough that, it's like you sort of have to thread the needle there so that, you write the article, you wait long enough to write your next article, you get those shares bought in the disclosure window and you're good. But
I keep a calendar to keep all that straight.
But I got no problem with the idea of buying one with no candidate out there because again, what you're basically doing is you're contracting out your investment, due diligence to a manager. And so if that manager can do a good job and get a good deal for you, and if then that manager is going to make money and you're going to make money and everybody's going to be happy. So, when things work out well, that's how it works out. I still think that that's the case. It's going to distinguish the best SPACs from the rest. But more and more competition is just going to make it more and more difficult. And so I think you're going to have to be more careful with pre-merger announcement SPACs going forward. Just, you got to have confidence in the people who are working for you.
Well, let me ask you about Pershing Square Tontine for a second, because they are kind of in a class by themselves size-wise. I think they have, over $4 billion to work with, including a pipe. They could conceivably spend like close to $10 billion on an acquisition. That really limits their investable universe. The good part is they can acquire companies that other SPACs can't because of the size, but it also is very limiting. I don't know what's your holy grail company that they could acquire out of their small investable universe. What companies have you heard, and what are you why do you in particular have that one in your portfolio?
Well, I've got it because Bill Ackman has a good long-term investment record. And so I think that he can think outside the box and come up with solutions that might be interesting. For instance, most SPACs, if you look at the prospectus for most SPACs, it says that a SPAC can buy one or more target companies. So, you're right, Matt, that it's a lot of capital and that limits potentially the size of companies. You'd have to have a big company if you're going to do one deal. But I think if Ackman found a company that was the right size, but his SPAC was too big for it, he would just do the deal. And then he'd look to do another deal at some point in the future. If that means that, maybe investors get half their money back at the end, but they get shares of a good company going forward, then that works for me. The other thing is just that I think that there are the chances of having a deal that will move sharply higher out of the gate once it's just right when it's announced is kind of limited to kind of those big name folks. Now we've seen sometimes there are some surprises. Sometimes you have sort of these no-name SPACs that end up with really good deals. And it's only that good deal that puts them on the radar. And that's definitely the case. But I went with them because, they like so many other SPACs have been trading down at a discount. They're not a Motley Fool pick, so I don't have to worry about the recommendation issues. And I just think Ackman in the long run, I'm interested in seeing what Ackman's going to do with it. A lot of people are down on Ackman because he hasn't made a deal yet. But I like that patience. And I think if that means he gets a better deal out of it, then that's going to be to my benefit going forward.